Hey, welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim Derling. Thanks for tuning in for another episode, or maybe this is your first episode. Either way, thank you for tuning in. Whether you found me on Facebook or YouTube or Google Plus, Twitter, I've got all of those social media covered, so thank you for watching. I'd like to talk about my classic rock collection. Most of the time it's vinyl, but basically it's classic artists, classic bands. And in honor of the birthday of Sir Brian May, that's right, Sir, he's a member of the Order of the British Empire now, I'm going to talk about a recent Queen release. It's almost a year old now. I was a little bit late in picking it up, so better late than never. I'm talking about Queen Live at the Rainbow 74. This is a classic, well, it's two concerts. This is the CD version. This is the Canadian version released on Hollywood Records. Hollywood Records has handled Queen's catalog since 1991, since the Innuendo album, and reissued the earlier albums. And the history of the Queen albums is too long to get to. This is a concert that's been widely bootlegged. You can see there's a little drawing or faded out photo of Freddie on stage. The cover's purple. This is two CDs. The first CD was recorded in March of 1974 on the Queen 2 tour. They were touring in support of their second album. And CD 2 was recorded in November of 74. By this time they'd released their third album, Sheer Heart Attack. This is a young Queen. This is the band on the rise. They were only on their second and third albums, and yes, both albums came out the same year. This was a different era for music. Musicians cranked out albums at a rapid pace. And guess what? People actually bought them. Queen 2 was a hit in Europe. The first album really wasn't until on the backs of more successful albums. But the second album broke through in the UK and parts of Europe. Didn't quite break North America. Sheer Heart Attack did. And so this is a very cool document of a band that was on their way up. But even for a young band, the professionalism that they display on stage is astounding. Listening to these two CDs reminds me of why I became a Queen fanatic back in 1992. And if you're not overly familiar with Queen's material, a lot of the songs on these two CDs, or this two CD set rather, won't be familiar to you. I'll hold that up. I don't know how well you can see the track listing, but it is all songs from the first three Queen albums, with the exception of some covers that they do at the end. The only across-the-board legitimate hit single that the average Queen fan would recognize is from the Sheer Heart Attack side of it, because it's from the Sheer Heart Attack album, and that song is Killer Queen. But this is before Bohemian Rhapsody. This is before Somebody to Love, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, Another One Bites the Dust. This predates all of those songs. This is a young band not even quite in their prime yet. They're just starting out, but you'd never know it. They are a seasoned band on stage. Everything is just played to perfection. But if you're a fan of the heavier side of Queen, you will really enjoy this collection. It's got some of their most guitar-heavy songs. It's got Ogre Battle, Son and Daughter, Great King Rat, Keep Yourself Alive. When we head over to the Sheer Heart Attack, we've got Flick of the Wrist. I guess another song that would be recognizable to the average, if you're a Metallica fan, then you would know the song Stone Cold Crazy. That's a Queen original. Very early prototypical thrash metal song, and they do that in the Sheer Heart Attack portion of the album. Now let's take a look inside the CD. It's a little write-up. Now this Rainbow Theater, this is not to be confused with the Rainbow Bar and Grill in Los Angeles. It's a different rainbow. It folds out like that. And booklet that comes with it. Like I said, this has been heavily bootlegged, and finally they cleaned it up well enough to give it a professional release. There's some classic photos of the band. I really, really wish that I'd somehow had the chance to see Queen. The last time they toured North America in their original four-piece lineup was 1982 when I was 8, so Wasn't going to make one of those shows, unfortunately. Did a great job on the remastering. Not a huge difference as to the way the band sounds between the first and second. Remember, it's less than a year. Just more material on the Sheer Heart Attack because they'd had that album and it was doing quite well for them. But it's great because a lot of the songs on here, it's the first time I've ever heard some of them live, like Father to Son, The Fairy Feller's Master Stroke, In the Lap of the Gods, March of the Black Queen. There are, at the end, they do like 50s rock and roll medley of songs like Jailhouse Rock, Stupid Cupid, Bebop-A-Lula, Big Spender. They do a rock and roll medley on the end of both of them. My opinion, kind of unnecessary, but, you know, it's Queen, and I just like to hear Queen play, no matter what they're playing. And I guess before we talk about the performance, well, I also picked this up on DVD. So this is released through a joint effort between Universal and also Eagle Vision. Eagle Vision has released a lot of classic rock DVDs. I have quite a few of them. Eagle Vision cover the Classic Albums series, which also did one on Night at the Opera. So this is the DVD version. It's the Sheer Heart Attack Tour concert that's on the CD set in its entirety, and 4 songs from the Queen 2 tour. Now, why not both in their entirety like the CD? It has to do with quality, picture quality. The Sheer Heart Attack video has, for whatever reason, it must be the way it was filmed, has lasted better. The Queen 2 one looks more like a bootleg. It's very white. It's very, the lighting is more, I don't know the technical terms to use, but the Sheer Heart Attack concert looks like a proper concert release. If you've ever seen Queen's videos that, well, I call them videos, video clips that were done for the songs Now I'm Here and Stone Cold Crazy, a lot of that footage, even though they're using the studio tracks, they're from this Live at the Rainbow concert. It's fascinating to watch them. Such a young band doing what they do best. It's a picture of the band. Like I said, Freddie is already the consummate showman. He hasn't quite got his Freddie persona down. In other words, he's not getting the audience to do no. He's not getting them to do the scales and sing back to him, but he's got them right in the palm of his hand. And it's so heavy. Parts of songs like Liar and Son and Daughter. Liar in particular, which is a song from their first album. They jam, they go into a jam, and Brian May is just, you know, not shredding, but it's amazing because it's a lot of notes coming out and it looks like his fingers are barely moving. He's one of my all-time favorite guitar players using that classic red special guitar. It's cool to see such a young band. We've seen tons of footage of Queen. When you usually think of Queen live on stage, you think of them at Wembley, you know, the mid-'80s when they were absolute masters at their craft. But here they're just starting out and they're already fantastic. So the booklet that comes with it, a lot of the same photos that are inside the CD. You know, me personally, I would have enjoyed seeing the Queen 2 show in its entirety, but I understand why they didn't put it out. The Sheer Heart Attack one was more professionally filmed. And there are several variations of this you can get. Of course, you can get it on vinyl. You can get deluxe box sets. I opted, it was actually cheaper for me to pick both of these up. And when I got into Queen, like I said back in '92, what I wouldn't have given to see at an old concert like this. But you know what? Better late than never. I still love the band, so it's well worth picking up. It took me a few months to get around to picking them up, but it's definitely worth it. So thanks for watching. This isn't a long one. It's just me talking about Queen Live at the Rainbow '74, available on CD and DVD. I highly recommend that you pick it up. And thank you for watching Tim's Vinyl Confessions. This is going to be an exciting summer. We've got lots of cool episodes for you and some concerts to tell you about a little bit later on. So thank you for watching. Would like as many shares, as many likes as I can get. And where I'm coming up on in end of this August will be a full year since I started doing these. And I want to do something very, very special for you people out there. So keep watching. The Facebook page, keep watching YouTube, Twitter, and Google+, and you'll find out more about exactly what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching Tim's Vinyl Confessions.